Welcome back, everybody. How are you doing today? As I do this live stream on a Sunday, something along the lines of that. I figured I'd start with a rhyme just in time for this live stream. Afternoon time with me here. I'm gonna share some stories, a few things, maybe a sneak peek, maybe, and reconnect with all of y'all. Hopefully you guys, you folks, you people out there are doing well for what it is. Hopefully you're getting some sunshine. If you've been getting too much rain, if you're getting too much rain, hopefully you're getting some sunshine. So hopefully you're getting a nice balance. For me today, it is a sunny day. Well, more like a mix of sun and cloud. Yeah, definitely a mix of sun and cloud today. So I show you guys. Hey Lee, I see you in there, right? See? Mix of sun and cloud today. Boy, it's bright out. Boy, that's bright out. I can barely even see my display. Alright. I gotta charge my phone though. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well. Let me just highlight that on the screen. So let me highlight that on the screen here so everyone can see who came by and all that good stuff. So yes, it's, well, at least there's enough sun for solar ignition and obviously for solar power, solar energy to come in. So on the bright side. Never really got this rain that I was supposed to get in early this morning, unfortunately, but luckily it rained like late last night. Well, actually, before I did the last live stream, technically. But yes, hopefully I'll get some more later in the weekend. There's supposed to be another chance next week, end of the week. Well, next weekend, probably the start of the following weekend. So it's supposed to be mostly sunny during the week. But thank goodness I have some rainwater just in case. Alright, some water just in case. Okay. Just in case. Let's see. You can barely even see my display. Let's see. Hi. What's up, Billy? I see you in there. Little wooden cover that I made for this. Hopefully it can handle it. Looks like I might actually look right here. There's a gap in there. I need to do something about that. This is just like, it was just scrap plywood I had. I was just like, I didn't have any other use for it. I'm just like, oh, a cover. Hopefully it'll help. I'm just hanging out, reconnecting with you all. Another live stream. And of course you're here with me. Well, here with me with text anyways. And the channel icon and name, but yeah, pretty much in spirit, right? Like earlier today, I gave some of the plants some water, such as the sunflowers, for example. Some of this container type of plants I have to always give them water because they don't have a large buffer zone of, well, surface area and volume, right? A container that has water will evaporate a lot faster than a bigger container or the ground itself, right? That's like the difference between like, a cup of water compared to a swimming pool, right? What's not evaporate faster in time, right? Yeah, the cup. It'll take a while for the water to evaporate from a pool. generally speaking. So, in that same kind of logic, I'm like, the container gardening I do, I gotta make sure they're watered, especially the smaller the container is. What did it say? Yeah, okay there. Hello, Mother. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, surface area too, alright? I mean, like, okay, that was probably not a good analogy, but let's just say, right? Because also, if you spread that water out, it'll evaporate even faster because you're increasing the surface area. For example, right? So, it'll warm up faster too. Yes. Yes. I have my coffee with me. I made another cup. I'm like, yes. Why not? Hope you're doing well, Mother. Nice of you to drop by. Got some flowers. Some other flowers lingering around. Couple reds, couple yellows, and, well, hopefully something that's a really big yellow flower. You'll have to wait for that. You'll have to wait for that, because it's not even bloomed yet. I can't even show you it, because it does not exist yet. I can't show you guys something that doesn't exist. This is a live stream. This is not a pre-recorded video or static video that I can insert in a finished product, right? Like, like those cooking shows or whatever that you see on TV that they can show a finished product, right? But the magic of TV, well, this ain't the magic of TV because this is live. So I can only show you what's happening right now. You just flip-flopping around. Did you, Mother? Yeah. Yeah, you gotta check on that. Especially if you're trying to divert water from a gutter into, like, let's say a rain catchment of some sort of cistern or something like that, right? Well, if you get debris in the gutter, then it reduces the flow, right? And it doesn't get diverted into your vessel container of choice, right? And pretty much at the end of the day, you have less gathered rainwater because it's been dripping off to the side or overfilling on the gutter or whatever, right? Or it overfills onto the downspout that it just kind of avoids the container, which defeats the purpose, right? Yes. It was like, it's that rained like, well, early yesterday evening for me, but it was quite nice. Didn't have to water anything, at least for another day. And got a little bit of rainwater. I mean, it wasn't much, but it wasn't significant, but it was enough to recuperate a few days worth of water usage in terms of for gardening purposes and stuff like that, right? Because this stuff, yes, this stuff don't grow without water. It doesn't matter where the water's coming from, sky, from a hose, whatever, right? A river, a pond, or whatever. Does that come from somewhere? All right. So, I'm trying this out this year. I have no idea. We'll see. Now your downspouts were clogged, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Straight up. I'm putting that on the screen right here. Straight up, right there. But yeah. There's some other plants growing right now. I'm actually surprised how well they're working together for what it is, I guess. I have to check on some of them every so often to make sure they're relatively healthy, I guess, nice vibrant leaf color and stuff like that. Because technically leaves aren't always green or dark green. The majority of them are, not always though. There's a variety that's, got darker leaves or whatever, different color leaves, but generally speaking, leaves are green. So I'm just taking a look right now. Right? Such as something like this. Yeah. This. Get some other things right here too. Just reading the chat. Well, at least you're keeping on top of it, At least you're keeping on top of it. Alright. You know what's funny? I will say this. Actually, I wasn't even gonna mention this, but since randomly Mother Earth came by, and randomly you guys are talking about the gutters or whatever, right? I was watching this reel over on IG randomly, right? I sent a link to some other people, but basically there was like some water infiltration, right? Of some sort, runoff, I don't know. Water main, I don't know, right? And this driveway was sloped down, right? So imagine a slope going down and entering in a garage, right? And I've seen similar homes like that in the past, even with my own eyes, right? And one of the things I always was concerned about places like that is water, right? Water runs down, right? Because of gravity, right? Generally speaking, water will flow to the lowest point, whatever it is, right? And basically, their vehicle was in the driveway, it sloped down, right? And there's water's rushing in and entering in the garage. Like, it was probably like, let's just say, halfway covering the wheeled water, right? I can imagine how much more water was on the inside, right? And of course, any gaps, any holes within the structure or whatever, right? Water's unpenetrated within time, especially if the volume's high enough that the pressure can, squeeze drip by drip, drop by drop into whatever, right? So yeah, that's something I always gonna be concerned about, right? Because it's like the opposite thing. Basically, you can water in places you don't want water, or standing water, right? Especially if it's on structures or infrastructure or whatever, right? Like wood and stuff like that. What would, in time, causes things to happen, And all that hassle or whatever, right? Because basically they were documenting it for insurance purposes, right? But I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the colors of the leaves that we generally see as green, it's because it's absorbing most of the spectrum of visible light, more or less. It's set for green for the most part, right? That's why we see it as green. It's reflecting green light to our eyes, and we see it as that color. So yes, let's see where I'm at. I gotta charge my phone. I should have charged my phone a little bit more before the stream, but whatever. Yes, exactly, right. It wears it down, it erodes it, right? Due to the qualities, the characteristics of water, right? It is polar. Like literally and figuratively. So that's why I prefer the high ground. Or a high plateau, right? I mean, there's been some benefits to low areas or whatever, but low areas or something like that, low ground, water can gather too, so pros and cons with something like that, right? I mean, when I was watching this video, I was just like, yeah, that's a very localized flooding, right? Localized, very localized emergency SHTF, for lack of a better term, for someone or some people, right? Is you're kind of like scrambling, you know. And this water, I don't know how it all turns out, right? Also, I'm just seeing one point of view and one instance of time on it. So but yeah, because unfortunately, like, you gotta move stuff around in terms of getting it off the ground, getting it out of the water and stuff like that, and issues of flooding when it comes to homes and stuff like that, right? May not be You may even not be able to stay in the home just because of the water damage, right? Or you're gonna heavily adapt to it or adjust to it, right? Like no one goes downstairs in the basement or whatever, that kind of thing, right? Just, it's not the CR that you're hearing in your head, it's the words I'm saying, the vocabulary that I cover that occurs frequently. All those CR words, right? That's what he means. That's what Wickshire means, right? Straight up. You really get into this, hey Billy? Oh, really, Myra? Nice, nice, nice. All that stuff, you'll have something for the spring, for the fall time. During harvesting time, spring, September and October. Or maybe even earlier. Maybe even earlier. And yet, I have yet to harvest anything substantial, but probably within the next month, cause since it's the end of July, pretty much, right? So August, September, October, obviously, I'll be heavily harvesting some things, especially as they ripen, right? And I'll have to play it by ear or by like seeing what's out there. We'll see how the temperature. Maybe Mother Nature will be nice and graciously offer more less cold days for a while still. Maybe hold out for a bit. Take care, my Earth. I thought my device was charging. Hold on. I gotta make sure my device is charging here. I'm at like 39. I was just like, why isn't it going up? Because it wasn't plugged in all the way. So, yeah. So, one of the things I did, aside from like, watering things and like watching, like literally I watched this. Yeah. It's two videos technically, but both of them were serious for what happened, right? I mean, like, I was following someone else. I've been following someone else for a bit, right? Always remembering your spatial awareness, right? Where you are and how you interact within, well, within the space, within the time period that you're in that space. Yeah, I just use those words, but it's important because things crap happens at times, unfortunately, right? Most of the time it's not always like that, but then sometimes it's like, out of left field kind of approach, right? Or someone throws in a curveball, metaphorically speaking, in terms of a baseball term, right? And a curveball, or a changeup, or anything like that, right? And hopefully you can, not strike out. Metaphorically speaking, right? So always be aware of things. I try to be as much as possible. I try to be. What's up, Tuck? I see you in there. Ooh, a wild floor man appears. And are you like trying to like put out some like game metaphor right there, or that almost sounds like it if I remember right. Hello, sunflower. I would sure hope so. I would sure hope so, Billy. Yeah. How are you doing, sunflower? Hopefully you're doing well. Why is my phone? Ugh, why is my phone not charging? Maybe I need to go get a battery bank. I have it tethered to an outlet, but I'm gonna have to go get a battery bank so I can be more mobile. I should have charged my phone a little bit better before the stream started. I should have had a little bit more capacity on the high end. Hi, yes. I was just mentioning sunflower earlier. Like, this will be the second, third time, or whatever, right? I'm still waiting for the bloom. I'd show you guys, but there's not much to see yet. I could show you the gray. There's definitely no flower. There's definitely no bloom yet. I'll still have to wait. It's still early. I'll have to wait, and you'll have to wait too. I don't know when I will post the video, let alone record it right now. I'm planning to record something and show some sort of video of content creation of some sort on it, but I'm still trying to see when I can squeeze it into the scheduling that I have. Because, like I said in my previous live stream, who hasn't seen any of it, I've been working on the content for a bit, right? And I do have scheduled videos in advance. Yes, I have like 13 videos in advance right now. They're like, everyone's like, what? Yeah, for real? Yeah. Did you just? Yeah. That many? Yeah. Right? Because sometimes I'm just like, I'm multitasking something in and showing you guys while I'm doing it, and so I add it into the mix of videos, and then it just randomly gets scheduled whenever it's more applicable. I'm not looking at the chat right now while I'm talking. Okay, maybe I will again, because I see Vanessa Kitty in there. Okay, whatever there, Billy. Hi, Vanessa. How are you doing? Oh, good. I picked up 3% more on my phone. Oh, 4%. Nice. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have these videos in the works, right? But well, not only videos in the works, but scheduled too. So I'm just trying to squeeze them in a more applicable time as much as possible. I mean, if I say something like summer or something like that, I feel like I gotta post it during the summertime. Probably not in like October. It might be a little late if I say that, unless for some reason I don't know, because I get all these videos. I'm just like, I don't know when to post them. Like, I'll post them, but I don't know when specifically. I've been changing the schedule so much at times. I'm just like, I mean, there's a couple examples like within the last, like, let's say 8 weeks that, where where I will actually post the exact same video that I did during that week for that same exact same week on a Friday, right? While other times I'm just like, it's post dated or scheduled like months later or whatever. And then at times there's like, there's been a video or two that I'm like, I delayed it, from the beginning of 1 month to like the end of the month to the beginning of the next month and to the end of that month, the following month, and then like 3 months later I finally show it or schedule it. All right. Well, not schedule it where it's public and all that stuff. So yeah. Yeah. Nice, Vanessa. And you're making your rules next time. So you've been tied up in what you're doing, I guess, Vanessa, right? Oh, did I just say that? Oh, why not, right? Me. I guess I got random cords on me. I guess I'm wearing a few things. I mean, like, technically I have a bracelet on, technically. Yeah, technically I have a bracelet on. Yeah. I'm actually still trying to find this other bracelet. I don't know, I misplaced it. This other one that I've had. I've shown it before, it's this green one. I kind of misplaced it. I'm not sure where I put it. I mean, I can see the other ones I have, but I kind of like that green one. I've shown it before. It's like a lighter green color with a little bit of white in there. So I think it's a color weave version of one. So it's not a zipper chain sit version, right? So it's not what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Damn it. How highly fast and deployable quick deployment. It's not the quick deployment type of bracelet. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. What did that say? Oh, okay, Billy. Well, I guess consistency, right? I guess you'll gain some experience in doing it, right? You know, it's funny. I have this spot that I've been working on. Like, well, I shouldn't even say working on. Like, every so often working on, but I've left it kind of more natural, to a certain degree. To a certain degree, I do have things that I've manually planted in there, right? Obviously, but they're only animals, right? I've been trying to set up these spots where it's kind of like natural but nice too, but yet not too overwhelming, and I can like move my hand through the space, right, and such, right? Or sandals or whatever, flip flops or whatever you want to call them through the space. So certain little things unfortunately won't be in there, just because I don't need pokey little things. I'm drifting my hand through the space or wearing like sandals or whatever through the space, right? Unfortunately, as much as I like certain little things, but if it's off to the distance and not on the path or whatever, then it's not such a big deal for me. I don't mind that then. Wow, you guys have lots to say today. Why is my why is my phone not charging? Oh my gosh. I might actually have to go get the battery back. Because I'm back down to 37. Dang it. Mm. Scattered rain approach works too. Yeah, just broadcast that out, right? All right, talk. I appreciate it. Like always, always appreciate it. I need to go grab this battery bank, I swear. Yeah, it's dirty. I'm outside, but I'm gonna go grab a battery bank. That way it could be a little bit more mobile. I could spare some power for it. Luckily, I prepared them in advance. Hold on a sec. Hold on one sec. Alright, but I built no beds. Oh, yeah, nice. Next year's garden, yeah. Cool, Vanessa. NT is nearby Y, so, context of the conversation, I couldn't get it. Right? So get my... Okay, Billy. Grab my battery bank here. Should be full. Oh yeah, I got full 4 bars. More or less full. Got my USB cable here. Got the battery bank in my pocket. You know what's funny? I actually tried out one of those, that reminds me of something. I'm on the phone. Hold on, I gotta make sure my device is charging. Alright, as long as the battery keeps going up, I'm good. Alright. That's an easy pass! No, I tried out one of those plant identification type of apps among some other things where you send an image or whatever, right? I don't know. I tried a few, like nothing, anything, no specifics. I mean, some of them were okay. Some of them were kind of better at identifying at times, right? I also realized, like, I would put in, like, a really young, like, sprouted plant, like, just sprouted. It was harder for it to identify. Looks like it's easier to identify them once it's actually, like, blooming a flower, more mature. Like, in that early stage, right? It's just, like, it could be more difficult. Even with the apps. It's just like I was showing some sunflower sprouts, right? I'm just like, it couldn't identify it. I tried. I'm like, oh, thank goodness I actually don't totally depend on it. Right? I mean, yeah, it could help if you didn't know or whatever, right? A name or something to kind of get some information on. But I was like, yeah. Why is my phone not charging the way I want it to? So I'm gonna have to check on this, make sure. So. Hold on one sec. Come on. Yeah, as long as my phone keeps going up, because it's like 34%. Hopefully I can get it into that 50%, halfway, 60% range, and it'll be at least decently good again. So yes, I think one of the things I'm planning to do within this week here, as in this coming up week, as obviously the new month, next month starts within, this coming up week, right? Today's the 27th, so a couple more days, then we'll be in the beginning of the month, part of the way through this coming up week, and, stuff like that. And it's supposed to be raining here next weekend, so maybe I'll do a few things during the week here. Get some things done amongst some other things. Why is my... I really wish my phone would actually charge here. I don't actually have to keep the indicator on the screen. Because it's like flaking out and off of it. Okay, I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to sit down. I was gonna show you guys something, but it'll have to wait for a moment. Because I need to charge up my phone. What is new, Sunflower? Well, I'll tell you what's not new. That I'm growing sunflowers. I've shown parts of them, either via our live streams or through standard static video content that I've been working on. I can't wait to show you guys some of the other stuff I've been working on. One of them will be a while. One of them you're not even gonna see this year because it's actually content I'm working on towards for next year. Actually, Sunflower knows this example. They specifically know this, but they don't know the details behind it. But let's just say been adding to it. I've been adding to it. I've been recording some content for it. I've also backed it up just in case, right? For both reasons, right? Because I'll need content for later. Because I'm using it as I need to record a bunch of B-roll for this one video I have in mind. Now this year's video, which I will show within time, I still gotta record it, right? Come up with something. Hopefully it'll be as good or on par as like the previous years I've shown it, or maybe better. Maybe I'll get, instead of being on par, maybe I'll get a birdie, in terms of golf, as a golf metaphor. I mean, at this rate, Billy, you're going to use the word obsolete. Also, obsolescence in there, right? Or maybe you planned it already to show that. Oh, I see. Oh, parts of the hard drive, right? Let's see. Why is my device not charging the way I want it to? I might actually have to... Because they keep dropping, in terms of the battery life. I mean, not battery life, the power. So I actually gonna have to keep my indicator on screen, which also means that I can't see the chat. I know every so often I'll clean up my connection port on this phone, right? Just because it's really easy. Like when you have your device in your pocket or whatever, right? Right? Sometimes lint or whatever can get into the charging port, right? Which, may affect the charging speed and such of your device. So I might actually have to do that. And I know that's an old school thing that I've kept in mind a long time ago. Like when I first had my first phone, right, I had issues with that. And someone said like, "Oh, take an ACR, yeah." And at that time, right, they said, "Oh, CR, take an eraser to your plug-in," right? And I'm like, why? Oh, they're like, oh, sometimes there's residue or someone gets on it and it gets stuck and then, it doesn't transmit or it's non-conductive or whatever, so it prevents it from, getting a charge or being conductive in terms for electricity. I'm like, oh, okay. And as soon as I tried it, it worked again, right? So ever since then, I mean, that was a long time ago, right? But something I always keep in mind. I'm like, yeah, just in case, right? It would help if my phone would keep charging here. I think I'm gonna actually have to hold it in there temporarily as I'm moving around. Oh, look who it is! It's Huga. Hi, Huga. Welcome. How are you doing? Now it's a party. Or a garden party. Is that just a... Can people throw garden parties? I always wondered. Yeah, that sounds like... Man. Come on, battery. Keep going up. Don't keep dropping. I'm like down to 29. I might have to check on it. I didn't think I was using that much power. Oh, okay. And now I know. Yay, 30%. As long as it keeps going up. Alright. I don't mind draining the battery. I mean, like I said, this battery bank I'm using, right? I think it's like 10,000, 15,000 milliamp hours, whatever, right? So I could get a full charge, but off of it, obviously. But obviously, if I'm using Wi-Fi and transmitting both sound and video, yeah. Oh, 31%. Yes, it is going up. That's good. I knew it was a good idea to show it. So yes. How are you doing, Huga? It's nice to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. Yes. I'll show you guys something in a moment. I'm just letting my battery. Yeah, see, now I'm at 33. Alright. I'm trying to get into that 45% range. At least. Before I start showing something again. Oh yeah. I'm just outside. In my little green patch here. Like literally, I guess I could show you partially. I just have to enter into the space here. Hold on. I gotta enter in the space here. Hopefully the signal holds up. Should hold up here. Let's see. There's a good spot to show you guys. Here, I'll show you guys here. Ooh. What's the Earth showing? Look. Oh, I'm trying to show you guys. Look. Oh, look. 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 Yeah. Let's just say I'm very pleased on it. Oh, did I just say that? It's looking very nice. So, if you've been wondering what I've been up to, well, pretty sure that just tells it all right there. Oh, snap! You just showed it. Oh, 38%, yes. My battery's going up. Whatever I'm doing is working. It is working. Yeah. A couple of things I've been trying out the last couple of years. No, it gets picked. Don't get me wrong. It was just randomly one right there, right? You know what I mean? Mostly, I'm trying to pick them too, right? As much as possible. And maybe something I might try out this year. Amongst some other things I want to try out. Actually, there's some things that randomly are going in a certain direction that maybe I'll try something out. I don't know. But some of these plants are nearby, so I might, help it along. Use something to help support something else, right? Or whatever. Or complement something else. Isn't that what the Three Sisters kind of planting kind of system is, right? Symbiotic relationship between all three of them, right? How they aid each other, support each other and stuff, right? So, since I can't quite do that, per se, I might be able to do something else. But the principle is still, is still sound. As I take a look at some of these plants I have, I might have to trim some of this back again. And do some pruning on some of these plants. I know. Right, literally. Because 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch, so you can do some math on that. But yes, like I said. See? Ooh. Yeah, maybe I need to. Oh, hey, look, I got sunflower right there. Oh, see, you guys know what that stuff is. Yeah, I've had my hands in the soil. I could actually clear my fingers with a brush and get back inside later. Clean off my hand. I was doing a little bit of gardening type of thing. I got some residue on my fingers. I was doing some, because I was, doing some pruning on it. So, I'm just squeezing, pinching it. So, some of that stuff's over my hands. I'll actually have to clean off my hands after. Probably not with just soap. I'll probably actually have to use like baking soda. Right? Use some sort of abrasive compound. Right? And stuff. Well, it is what it is. I've seen that with air plants. Speak of air plants, I really, some of the stuff I actually have to trim down. I think may have let a few things wildly get out of control, grow a little bit too wild. A little bit too wild. I need to tone it back a bit. That is what I'm doing. Some of this. I'll just chop and drop all this extra little stuff on the path. Alright? Let's go from there. Because technically, the leaves are still green for the most part. I don't need the foliage. Generally speaking, on a tomato plant. At least down low anyways, right? That's what I'm doing. Hopefully reallocate some of that energy towards something else. Like fruit production. That's probably be a good idea. I think I've kind of... Yeah. Especially since some of this... Yeah. Yeah, I definitely gotta prune this back. Ooh. Whatever there... Everyone always got to add in their more comments like that. What's up, Mr. Moore? How's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, the leaves are still green. I'm just kind of kind of help it along a little bit as much as possible. Almost to the point that I have too much in the spot. I've done it before, though, unfortunately. I'm just like, maybe that was a little too much for the spot. Maybe I'm at what I would call max capacity. Max capacity for the space, right? Just like anything, right? As efficient as growing vertically and all that stuff is, there's still a maximum amount of upper capacity. It's just like rain catchment. There's an upper capacity to it, right? So I imagine for what I'm growing, I'm like, yeah, right, there's probably a max capacity with this too. So let's do something about it. Yeah, I definitely... It's because I have some things intertwined into it, I think. It's because it's harder. So I can't totally see where it's coming from. All I know is that this patch that I have is not doing as well as this air patch I have. So, which means that, probably means that I need to prune a little bit here, or at least attempt to refine this back down. Yeah, I definitely, I'm not even a word of, whatever though. Whatever though. No word of why. I'm like, see? It's too, this, look how thick that is. I can show you this too. It's way too, a little crowded. So, I wasn't planning to do any of this today. Well, show this as part of the content, but stuff like this happens, right? So, get some more airflow into it, right? And that's why some of my fingertips are changing green, because I'm pinching it I'm not using tools like scissors or whatever, right? Just pinching it. Just because that's what I'm doing right now. As I took a look at some of the stuff, I'm like, yeah. Some of the stuff I just have it on a path right now. As it breaks down, I'll deal with it, chop and drop it or whatever, right? Yeah, see, some of the stuff I have, I can't totally show you because it's not sunny out here, but some of the stuff I definitely gotta deal with. Well, it's not just, it's dissolved gases, alright? There's nitrogen and carbon dioxide and oxygen in the water to a certain degree. I mean, yeah, it'll it'll have a certain amount, right? I mean, obviously, it's not like, a lot, but, there is still some because it's a dissolved gas in it. Although you can only put so much into the volume before it kind of vaporizes off or outgasses away, right? Well, at least someone's gonna eat. I see. Ooh, I'm at 46%. Yes. Yeah, the spot I have, I definitely gotta deal with this. A little bit more. Hold on one sec. Give me one moment, please. Okay, alright. Just heard something. I was just making sure since my back's turned against it right now. Like I said, just put it into the sun. Like literally, you could see this path I have. that I have it on. Let's see. Removing some of the stuff here. Just pinching it off, right? I don't need more foliage, right? I need something to actually like fruit. I mean, like and stuff, right? Now this patch is old. It's not. It was a little bit like. Well, it's in a different spot, but it's a little bit. It's not as old as their spot I showed earlier. Their spot's actually growing really well, actually, but I gotta make sure or trying to get it on par to this air spot. As much as possible here. Because I kind of let this grow wildly. Maybe I should have did more pruning in the beginning of the season a lot more. Clearly I should have. I just kind of let it grow, right? Because it's doing some other things. It's all good. It's all good. It's not the only plant I have, so. I'm trying to get some more airflow in here. Among some other things. Is that, like, literally, because I have some things intertwined into this, actually. I have some onions growing nearby, technically, so they're intertwining in. So, like, if I show you guys, like, look, this is the top view. Like, look at this. Look at this top view. Let me reduce the CR there. Yeah, see, right there, and over there. Just follow the CR. Some of our plants, right? Look how intertwined that is. Right? Like, good for in terms of holding the moisture, right? Because, there's plenty of shade, but I need some airflow in there too. At least for that. Yeah, I definitely need some airflow in here. So I'll just take a look. And I'm pruning anything major, but things that won't make or break it. Make or break it, right? So where the plant still has enough leaves on the topper higher part of the canopy, so I can still do that, photosynthesis, obviously, right? Because obviously I still need some leaf structure in there, right, for photosynthesis. I can't just leave all the flowers and fruit on there, at least not right now, right? Later in this season, as the temperature drops, and stuff like that, yeah, maybe, but right now there's still time, right? There's still another month of good weather until September, so yeah. For now. All right. Later, Mr. Moore. Later, JM. Appreciate you dropping by. Oh. Yeah, I got you there, Billy. It just depends, right? Some things like for any little things, I'm like, I gotta put my hand through the area, right? So it's like I don't want that, right? Then some other things like, oh look, it's some clover or whatever. I'd be like, oh yeah, that could stick around. It's not very aggressive. Barely, it's just on the surface. Kind of acts like a living mulch, and I'm like, yeah, I don't mind that so much. It'll cover the ground, cover the soil, right? And wait, the soil's not bare. Maybe, and help keep the soil intact together, and what's it called? To hold the structure, right? Especially if things like high winds, water, right? Almost like flooding and runoff, right? That kind of thing, right? So, I do know, once the soil's parched, cracking or whatever, right? It takes a lot longer for water to infiltrate, soak in, right? Because it almost becomes hydrophobic, afraid of water, right? So it takes more time. That's why, it can be dry. If it's really been really dry, it takes longer for water to soak in, right? Soil that has some moisture in it will still be able to soak in water relatively quickly, as it starts, but, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Compaction and all that stuff, that kind of stuff, right? It reduces the airspace, right? That means water can't even penetrate it, right? It becomes like impenetrable surface to a certain degree, right? Probably not totally, but it's way different. So, because one of the sounds I always like to hear when I'm watering, right? And I can't. When you hear it, the sound, right? It's like, because I get it when I'm watering the sunflowers, right? I'll pour a liter of water around the base, just on the outside of the base. All I hear is like I can hear the water just going down and air coming back out, right? Because it's soaking into the ground. It's like there's something about that. I'm just like, oh, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like water's going into the ground, right? As I saturate the stream with a bunch of sunflower stories. Among some other things, so yeah. Yeah, I really gotta thin this out a bit here. Maybe I should get some. I'm always thinking maybe I can't pinch these all the way. I might actually have to take scissors to it or whatever. Yeah, see, this it's not good. That's definitely not good. I'm really glad I'm doing this now. I probably should have did this earlier in the season, but whatever. At least I'm doing something. What's that say? Oh yeah, clay. Yeah. Because clay will hold moisture better compared to, sand, right? because the particle size, right? Water has a harder time trying to penetrate through it, or in terms of sand, a much easier time because the particle size is a lot bigger in comparison. Well, soil can be hydrophobic and so can compost. Until you get compost wet, like let's just say after it's done or whatever, right? So it has a hydrophobic property to it because it's been relatively dry, relatively speaking, right? I mean, if there's some moisture in it, then it won't be as hydrophobic. But I know compost is hydrophobic. Like let's say after you store it, right, for a little bit of time, right? It's lost its like most of its moisture. It's just kind of sitting there, right? So, yeah. I always remember it's like, oh, don't just pour a bunch of water, right? Kind of soak it, spray it with some water, allow it to absorb a little bit of moisture. Then it won't be as hydrophobic because there's some moisture already in it. Yeah, exactly, right? At least trying to have something growing on top. I mean, like this one spot I have, right? I mean, it's it's not a garden space for me, right? But it is a spot things can grow. Because it has access to the ground. I'm just like, so I'm like, let's look at something growing there, right? I'm just choosing what I want to grow there a little bit more, right? I'll let Mother Nature, grow things there, but there's certain little things I'm like, But then there's other things, if I see clover or something like that, I'm like, yeah, I'll let that grow, right? It'll cover the ground and all that stuff, right? It'll be able to come back, right? Like a perennial, right? That's the idea. Like, I have sunflowers growing in that spot, right? But honestly, those are annuals, right? So I want to try to develop something. And we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, exactly. Alright, my battery's still going up. 53%. 53%. Well, yeah. As the plants do transpiration, right? AKA sweat or like breathe and all this sort of thing. There's some water loss, right? What it is, so it's always pulling water. Through the stem or trunk or whatever, right? Through the roots and all that stuff, right? As I take a look at a few other plants I have around here. I've been trying to get better at this. Or at least try to anyways, right? Yeah. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more pruning and just take a look here. Yeah, I might as well. Let's see what I got. Some of this I just have to like get rid of or chop and drop it out. Because I could tell. I have this other spot away from everything else that I don't mind chopping and dropping it in, right? Because I'm not actually growing the same plant in that spot. I wouldn't anyways, so it'll break down in time, right? Yeah, it is. And I shouldn't have let this grow. So wild without some intervention. I'm gonna think about it more and more. Yeah, mental to self, not let it get this crowded again. Yeah, definitely. Now everything's growing within the space now too. I'll do some pruning. I mean, yeah, there is some flowers at least, but the thing is, it's not as advanced in terms of the life cycle compared to some of these other ones I shown earlier. So clearly, I need to do something so I can catch up. I mean, it's already the end of July, right? So for me, I only got maybe at least 6 more weeks before things can change, slow down, whatever, right? So I need to give it the time. Let's see what goes down. Yeah, see. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely gotta prune this back some more. I might actually have to do this throughout the week. Do a little bit more. Like I've been adding them a lot. I mean, subtracting, removing some. And barely, it doesn't even look like I barely even touched it. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do something about this. And then don't pull the spots that will have like flowering, right? Because obviously, I can remove some of the foliage to a certain degree to look at this. So, because I thought I could tell, it's kind of, I need to like intervene here to a certain degree, yeah. Hey, I'm surprised Billy hasn't put in some some equation in to describe everything. Using a bunch of terms there, Billy. Even I know a few of them. Not all of them, but I know some of them. I've heard them around. Wait, you don't, Billy, I know you watch that other channel. I've seen your comments on that fundamental channel. Wait, you don't think I know that? I pay attention. I look at the comment section on videos and see who's commenting. Even on not my own videos. So I'm like, oh, let's see who dropped by. Let's see the comment section while I'm watching the video or listening, right? So yes, I know you've been there. Well, then just make it easy, right? Just put a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Right? All right. We'll figure out the slope or the angle of it afterwards, right? Maybe it'll be out of 45. Let's see. Yeah. That's cool. I watch what I watch. And then if I like it, then I like it. If I don't, well, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I don't really know how to do some trimming on this. I guess on the bright side of things, there's one bright side of having this so much cover on it. It's cooler underneath on the lower parts of the canopy for what it is, right? Because sunlight can't penetrate all the way down, and there's, cover to reduce evaporation loss. So, but because of that, it could be too humid or too much moisture, relative humidity in that spot. So, I need to get some airflow back into this. All right, as much as possible. Like I said, I have things intertwined into this, so I'm trying to be careful how I do it, but I wasn't rule anything. Maybe I can. I don't think it needs that part. I think it could still handle without that part or whatever, right? That is what I'm doing. Like, look at this. No word of a lie here. Look at this. Oh, that's my cable. See, look at that. Some of it's not even that great shape. Like, look at this. It's probably not good, alright, so. Learn by doing. Learn by doing. Okay. I'll just set this on the path. Let the sun actually hit that spot. Actually, I'll put it on into the surface I have. I'm just gonna let it sit in the sun and just kind of dry out in the sun and all that stuff, right? As much as I can. Yeah. Well, Billy, I'm a fan of, like, something repeatable, alright? Something repeatable. And if you take something out, it disappears. Or something happens. If that makes any sense. So, as I take a look at more of these plants here, yeah, some of the ones I had to trim back. At least we can somewhere with it. Yeah, exactly right. pH level, microclimates, how much sunshine, humidity, there's smoke in the air, what's in the soil itself, the dissolved gases around in the water, pH level, right? And all that stuff. How much shade, how much daylight, even latitude, right? You close to the equator, or you close to the Arctic, or you somewhere in between, right? Along those latitudes, right? Coastal conditions, inland, whatever, altitude too, right? How much rainfall, how much water, right? The temperature, the air temperature, and, do you go through a cold cycle or not, right? All that stuff matters. I see. I just unplugged my phone. I'm at 54, so I should have enough for a little bit. Again, I just wanted to make sure I had something. Hold on. I'm gonna put down my phone so I can grab the battery bank out of my pocket. Back to the CR madness. Oh, I see. He's going bad. Yeah, still. Yeah, okay. Let's not put that there. Let's not dangle my USB cable over a battery that's got beams. That's probably not a good idea. Let's avoid that. Oh, whatever there. Whatever there, Sunflower. Really? Billy, he's exaggerating it. I paid him to say all those nice words, right? yeah, that's it. Of course I'm being sarcastic. Of course I'm not being serious. But yeah. Well, I guess I'm starting to get somewhere on this. A little bit more. At least I'm fine-tuning this a little bit better. Oh yeah, I definitely got... Oh, dang, I never went. Well, I guess at least I'm doing it now. Yeah. At least I'm doing this now. Hey, look who it is! It's Idaho Gun Girl. Hi, Steph. How are you doing? Yeah, okay. So she's now listen to me as she mosey on. I'm trying to say it. I can't even say it straight. And she, never mind. Sometimes I can't even say it straight. So forget that dirty humor. I mean, my dirty humor. Oh, okay. You're a deck at heart? Oh, never mind. I thought that said I'm a deck of hearts. Never mind, I misread that. So yeah. There's some other spots here. And just because one person's here, you guys get to quickly. I can't. It's a little high, but it's bigger. Look. Look. Only because one person's here, I will show that. Yeah. Only because Sunflower's here. Only because she's here, I will show that. But there's not much more to show because I'm still waiting for it. It'll still be a while. I'm not gonna see anything for a while. I'll be lucky to see it at the end of next month. 1 month from now, 4 weeks from now. We'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. Can't wait for it to bloom. Bloom, 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 bloom. Yes. Well, you can call yourself the Wiltering Shire Project. Right? You can update the name. Kidding, kidding. Show it now. And you gotta wait a sec, Sunflower. I'm just gathering something here. Pull it out. Parking it. Yeah, I'm getting more cloud cover right now. Definitely no solar ignition or not much in the way of solar power. It's not it's not bright and sunny. Like it's clouding over a lot more now. Like I can show you guys more or less. Yeah, see, it's clouding over a lot more. You can see west and west blue skies. Got some mix of sun and cloud or more. It's generally getting more cloudy out, right? And I can't. And this bigger cloud cover is covering the disk of the sun, right? Because it's on the southwest facing side right now, honestly. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I'm wearing a hoodie right now. Well, not really quite a hoodie with a hood, but long sleeve shirt anyways. You know, just have it out. It hasn't been that hot actually this month for me. It's actually been like quite balanced. I mean, like I think I saw more heat in May than this month, technically, all this month. But it's been relatively at least balanced. Seasonal to a certain degree, to a certain degree. A couple days it's lower, or a couple days it might be higher, but generally it's been quite nice. And there's been, a typical, or I should say more average amount of rainfall for this month. So, which helps. Providing it doesn't rain days and days, or weeks and weeks of sun, without that are part of it happening, right? That balance of heat, moisture, and sunshine and water, right? If you get too much or one or the other, right? You're got your plants standing with wet feet, or there's not enough moisture in the ground, and both of them can affect a plant, right? Generally speaking, right? I'm talking in generosity. I'm generalizing it a little bit, Doesn't matter if it's a squash or sunflower and tomato, some sort of perennial tree or whatever, right? They need some form of solar energy, sunshine and water, right? When those things come together, relatively speaking, generally the plants do quite well for what it is, right? But if it's too far onto sunshine or too far with wetness in terms of water on the ground for long periods of time, then it's just like, things can definitely happen. Yes, you did. But yeah, it's true though, right? Because sometimes you gotta remember Like, look what happens a lot of the time from what I've seen out there and such, right? Where people are talking about issues with their garden or plants or whatever, right? I mean, it's not all the time, but for the most part, it's when they're getting too much sun or they're getting too much rain or what, too much water or too much heat, right? Because in the sun, if it dries out the environment, it causes, the leaves to go through transpiration a lot faster, right? Lose moisture, right? If it's not in the ground, because it hasn't rained for a long period of time, then the plant doesn't do as well, right? Struggles a little bit, right? Yeah, there's plants that are tolerant, right? But like any tolerance, even with us as people, as humans, right? We have our we have our tolerances to heat and cold. It varies to a certain degree, but we all have our tolerances, right? Some people can handle it better, some less. Some people prefer the heat more than cold, and people prefer cold more than heat, right? It just depends who you are, right? I've talked to many people, and they're like, yeah, I can't handle the heat. I like it when it's cooler. I don't hurt as much or whatever. Joints, pains, and all that stuff, right? You gonna baby? Hold on a second. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. E's and O's and N's and H's in there within the structure itself, right? The biological, no, the organic compounds of the system, right? Not to be confused with like minerals and stuff like that, calcium, sodium, right? And stuff like that, sulfur. Yeah, exactly. Hold on one sec. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, people like to randomly talk to me on times, even though I told them I'm live streaming, talking to people. Whatever. That's how it goes. But yeah, I felt like I missed something in there. Plants did the whole, hey, I'm gonna be a tree. Okay, I see that, Billy. I see that. I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to corral things, learn about it by doing it, right? That's why I've been trying to learn about it and seeing this whole life cycle of things, right? For example, sunflower, right? From that seed to sprout to that kind of adolescence type of stage as it grows into this mature state to, hey, look, I'm not blooming flower, and all the way to the seeding stage, and then, and the life stage, right? For what it is, right? And understanding that whole cycle of it, being able to see it all, right? Understanding it by seeing it for your own eyes, whenever possible, right? Not just in a video or in a picture, right? But seeing it with your own eyes, kind of deal, right? Characteristics of it, right? What it is. All right. Yeah. So, as I chill with some of these airplanes I have hanging around, right? I'll show you guys something. Okay. See? Ooh. That basically started within the last week or two, actually, for me here. So hopefully they'll do its thing, right? And then hopefully I'll see some fruits of my labor from it eventually in time. Hopefully. Right? Hopefully there's still no. Wow. Hopefully there's still no time. Right. We'll see. It's not quite as mature as I would like, but at least it's going somewhere. Hopefully Mother Nature will offer some extra time before the frozen white rain shows up. Can't believe I'm talking about that crap already, but I am trying to plan ahead on it as much as possible. Yes. Oh yeah, I do have one. Nice. I do have some. One fruit started on it. I can see it. It's like the size of like, let's say like I don't know, golf ball size. A little bit smaller than a golf ball size. It's not that big, but hopefully in time it'll get bigger. There's still some time left in the year, so we'll see how it goes day by day, week by week, and all that stuff. What does that say? Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, look at me. I'm blooming stage. Or bright yellow flowers and stuff like that. Like right now, it's like I'm in the yellow flower stage of my garden time, right? Some of these other flowers are spent already, because they're earlier in the season. I've shown them already on the channel. But pretty much now I'm just like into this the yellow flower stage, and eventually you'll see a really big yellow flower in time. But you'll have to wait because there's nothing to see yet. At best, I can show you like the crown forming on it. I already know. I've been growing them for so long now, and I'm like, I know that it's in that stage, where it's reaching into this out from the mature state to this I'm not flower or develop the flower type of stage, right? Because I could tell. I usually could tell just by looking at it. Especially since I've been seeing it more and more often year after year, right? And of course, for anyone that hasn't seen my kind of picture slideshow or flipbook of it, that's how I know too, right? Because I have reference material. I'm like, yeah, it looks exactly like how it did, right? And what happened later, a couple weeks later or whatever, it's like, boom, occurred, right? So, yeah. No, I have different stages of them, alright? I mean, sometimes if you got small space or whatever, right? It just depends, alright? Sometimes you gotta squeeze it in, right? But then there's other times where I'll let some other things grow within the space too, right? I'd be like, oh, clover's just growing nearby, it'll be fine, alright? And clover's growing underneath the sunflower, it'll be fine. That kind of deal, right? Like, I got random things growing underneath my sunflower. I think some of it's clover. There's some dandelions in there, but generally speaking, there's some other things growing. And it just kind of provides like a living mulch. Although the sunflower can pretty much shade it, the ground underneath it quite well anyways. But if anything, it can absorb the extra moisture if it rains a lot. And, maybe do some sort of interaction with it. I don't know. Yeah, you stagger it, right, Billy? Like I said, nothing major. Alright. Still looks nice enough. I don't mind it. I've chopped and dropped some stuff around. Where I'm showing some stuff around here, right? Wire around it, right? I never wire the base. Heavily as it gets bigger or wider, the stem, and heavier, especially on some of these tall ones. Because you'll regret it. Because I know I did. Oh look, let's just do that. I mean, something grow, but just went up to 24 now. Trying not have to go grab my battery bank here again, once again. I gotta double check the time too. Wow, okay. Sorry, just passed the pop hour. I'll probably go till the bottom of the hour. At the most, unless for some reason I get an influx of people dropping by randomly, right? It's like, so I was like, suddenly I get 20 people dropping in within the next 20 minutes. Yeah, I'll end the stream at the bottom of the hour. Give me 1 sec, I could go grab this. Make sure I grab my battery bank here, my charger. Charge up my battery again, once again here. Well, I mean, like, it shades it out, right? I mean, like, that's how it goes, right? Grabs nutrients and all that stuff, just the way it is. But there can be benefits, right? There can be benefits for something like that. Like, for example, shade, right? You could be providing some shade to something else that could use a little, so it doesn't bolt, for example, right? Start flowering too fast. Keep something nearby, not directly, like, connected for the ground with it, but, like, lettuce or something like that, maybe keep it a little bit cooler so it doesn't bolt as fast, hopefully, right? Or you get that bitterness, right? Stuff, right? Unless you're actually trying to get, like, seeds, and then that's a totally different thing, right? Whoa. Sunflower like sunflowers? I would never have known. Again, I would have never have known. Again, I would never have known. Yeah, right. Seed saving on point. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my battery's still going up. As long as my battery keeps going up, I don't mind. But yeah. So, I guess on the bright side of doing this live stream, I did a few extra little things. I'll probably still do little things. I'll probably actually have to take scissors. I'm tired of pinching it. And some of these spots are... Alright? Because earlier, most of the time I can just pinch it. Alright? But sometimes I'm just like, I've let it grow too much, or the stem's too thick to pinch nicely. So, I might actually have to grab, some tools for it. Right? Generally, I don't need to at times. But I feel like I might need to this time around. Yeah? Yeah? Nice. Well, why am I not surprised on the latter one, Billy? Why am I not surprised? Yeah. Why am I not surprised? Yeah. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, 8 after. We got about 20 minutes or so. But yeah. Like, so I'll probably, even out the stream, I'll probably listen to something else, listen to some music, and do some more pruning a little bit more. Because I need to get some airflow into this one spot. Right? It's a tad bit overcrowded. Just a tad bit. So get some airflow back into it by pruning it. Nothing that I quote unquote need, but like some of that lower stuff, right? I'll keep the foliage at the top, right? Because obviously it'll be like the concentration for the solar energy to transfer in, right? For photosynthesis, but some of that lower stuff is not getting sunshine anyways, right? Or like a random ray of light, right? Versus top of the canopy that actually is probably getting most of, if not the majority of the sunshine, the solar energy coming in. So I'll do a little bit more of that. Either chop and drop it or let it dry out so it crumbles into as like dehydrates it out, and I can just shred it or crumple it or whatever, right? I'll put it into this other spot I have. Just to avoid certain little things. I have this one spot that I can put stuff that I actually don't purposely grow things in, but I can chop and drop extra little things into it when possible. Yeah, exactly, Billy, yeah. Right? So, as I, like, you know, some plants out there take a little less effort, or you don't have to do as much maintenance, right? But then there's other times where, like, something like a sunflower, for example, right? It's basically most of the work comes from in the beginning, the babying it, right? Sprout it, right? And all that stuff. Make sure it can handle what it is, right? Then there's this, at least for me anyways, when I found once it reaches right up to that flowering stage, it's pretty much like you just give it water and make sure it's standing, right? You want to add fertilizer, organic fertilizer, blah, blah, you can if you want, right? But generally, during that time, I don't have to do much except for, maybe give it some water, right? Maybe some fertilizer if you want to do something like that, Because the majority of the work comes from the beginning and the latter half of the season where, the harvesting, right? Okay, so let's say harvest the seeds, this flower head or whatever, right? Once it matures and develops the seeds and all that stuff, right? You got to, pull it down, separate the seeds and all that stuff, right? And deal with everything else afterwards, right? Versus, let's say something like a tomato plant, right? You pick it when it's ripe, right? But, and maybe to a certain degree, early part of its life cycle, right? You gotta baby it, right? But that, because it's more like a vine or whatever, and how it grows, right? So you might have to do a lot of pruning in between, right? In between its sprouting stage to on the fruit, and the fruit is ripe stage, right? So even right now, some of them might have to, because it's just like, because I'm trying to get fruit out of it, right? I don't need more foliage. There's enough foliage on most of them now. Yeah. As long as the top has some foliage, yeah, it'll be fine. There'll still be enough leaf cover to gather some solar energy in, right? Speaking of solar energy, I'm getting some sunshine now. Once again, Midnight Conqueror is giving me some sunny breaks for the next. Well, for both the plants and for the solar panels, lights, and such that I have here. Second set of leaves, not the cotton leading leaves. I hate the baby leaves, yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. All right, it's while it's doing that state, right? Like, especially once the plant starts to get bigger, I find anyways, right? There's this where it feels like, not quite, but almost feels like it's exponentially growing faster, right? And to me, it kind of makes sense, right? There's a certain, if the leaves are getting bigger, it can gather more solar energy, right? There's more surface area, right? And of course, then it also requires more nutrients to to develop, to sustain that growth, and the water itself to sustain that growth, right? So, but yeah, I noticed that, especially if it's starting to reach new spots with more access to water, more nutrients, or higher taller, in which you can gather more solar energy because it's not shaded out by, let's say, whatever structures, fence, air plants, a tree, a pole, a building, a house, a greenhouse, a shed, whatever, right? Because I noticed that it's just like, once it reaches this, like, if you have something beside a fence, right? Like, a fence will cause a shadow, right? And let's just say a plant's on the north-facing side of that, right? once it reaches to a certain point, it might actually grow a lot faster, or it will seem like it grows faster because it's able to reach this higher area where there's sunlight at like, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning, where in the beginning stage you would never see that because it's too short, right? But it's reaching up high enough that it's out of the shadow of, let's say, a fence or something like that, or a pole or whatever structure is blocking the sunshine initially, right? And then you start to notice it's like, holy cow, this is growing fast, right? Because it's able to access more. And that in itself, solar energy, nutrients, the water, it can grow a lot bigger because it has more abundance or source of it, right? Well, I mean, believe for me, it depends how far in it is, right? And how big it is, right? I mean, depends, right? If I have time, then I'll do it, right? But sometimes I'm doing everything, so it depends, right? But eventually, yeah, eventually the lower leaves will drop out anyways, because it gets shaded out and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's why you do pruning on something like tomatoes and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Avoid some issues down the line. No, I imagine so. I imagine so. Don't you mean NESW? And not NWSE? Or whatever. It's all good. I mean, it depends what it is, right? I know some. Well, generally, right, there's shade called tolerance, there's full sun, right? But generally, plants generally need some sort of energy source in, such as solar energy, right? Yeah, you can artificially light or whatever, but generally, if we're talking about outdoors, yeah, it's gonna be with solar energy, sunshine, right? So, and the trade off too, right? You know, you don't want the soil drying out or whatever, right? But you also want enough solar energy to come through, right? Yeah. Right, yeah, all right. 17 after, so about 13 more minutes or so. 11 minutes before I give my thing like I usually say and such. I'm just sitting for a moment. I just make sure my. Getting some chart before I start showing a few more things here. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, now I'm getting some solar energy back again. It's nice. Oh, look. I just see a flock of crows. I think it's crows. The sun's in the way of the glare, but I'm pretty sure it was a flock or a murder of crows. I think that's the terminology they say, right? I can see them in the sky. They're probably just riding those thermals in the air, above the ground and all that stuff, right? Just gliding around, right? Looking for food or everything's right, you know. Pretty sure those are crows. It looks dark, it's black in color all the way through. It's not like I'm seeing just the blackness of like a magpie or something like that. There's no white stripes in there whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, right? Without the moisture, things can't transfer through the system, right? Dissolve minerals, dissolve gases, right? Water is the lifeline, like the blood, right? Because it transports things along that, like a current, like a river, like a flow. So it flows around the system, right? If you think about it, right? So without that water, the elixir of life, it's gonna be like very sluggish. Burnt leaves, dried out leaves, right? And stuff like that I've seen before too, right? And just like, yep, definitely gotta make sure to avoid that whenever possible. Right? And always remembering, you want to start a garden, right? One key thing to make sure you kind of have a source of or know how you're going to deal with it is the water, right? Bugs, sunshine, you could do stuff, right? But the water, I mean, like, if it's raining, it's raining. If it's dry and sunny and heat wave, it's dry and heat wave, right? As long as you have some water or able to, like, saturate it into the ground so it, and stuff, you can still get something going. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, without it, because the bug pressure you could still do something about, right? Even with sunshine, right? Yeah, you can artificially if you really wanted to, but without water, it's like there's no real substitution for it, right? There's no substitution for water, right? You'd be like pulling, like gray water or river water for irrigation purposes or whatever, right? Or an aquifer, underground aquifer or whatever. Even at that, within time, you'll deplete it. Within time. It may take hundreds of years, generations, but in time it might be possible, right? Right? Like, I got waters laid out ready to go, right? For this. Because gardening does take a lot of water for what it is. And it's probably no surprise, right? Like, even in container plant, right? Even if you just grow something like a tomato or sunflower or whatever, something like along the lines of that in the container plant, even made strawberry or whatever, you'll realize how much water it needs for what it is, right? To keep it healthy, right? And productive, right? So you get the fruits at the end of the season or while the season is growing, like going, strawberries, for example, raspberries or whatever, right? Stuff like that. I know some of my friends that I know on more local level, I've seen their strawberries and their raspberries, right? So. They're like, do you want some, Sierra? I'm like, next time I come over, right? So I might drop by their place and be like, I brought my own bowl. I brought my own cup. Right? They'll be like looking at me, and I'll be like, is that coffee? No. This is the cup to pick up the raspberries. Right? So I don't have to just put them in my hat or whatever, right? I have a couple of ideas. I'll also have to see, though. Right. Just have to make sure charge on my phone still. But yeah. So I just take a look at some of these things and I'm just like, we're gonna have to prune this back a bit. Like I said, some of these are just way too far. Well, not gone, but way too far not established, but like maybe I need to do a little bit more maintenance on it. Right, so hopefully allow this plant to catch up to the other ones I have, right? As much as possible. I can already tell just by looking at this. Like, I'm barely able to pinch some of them because they're so thick. Definitely have to wash my hands after. My hands turning green from the chlorophyll, yeah. I was gonna say form. Chlorophyll, yeah. Of the plant, so fingertips are changing. That's okay. They'll wash out. I'll just treat it like a grass stain, right? I'll just treat it like a grass stain. Yeah. I see, Mr. Wickershire. Yeah. Well, hopefully what I'm doing here will help down the road. Hopefully. Hopefully, anyways. As I take a look at some of this stuff. So it's not so bad. Let's see. See how it all turns out. I'll go show you guys this one spot right here. Phone here. Look at that. Look how much I got here. Alright? I gotta harvest some of this stuff. Try to use it, right? Yeah, clearly some of this, it's not the best shape, but it's also not too far gone, so still doable. Oh, I see, Billy. I see. I guess I gotta look at my phone here. See what's Yeah, I think I'll go directly into this 2-hour mark. I said the bottom of an hour, but it'll just be slightly past the bottom of an hour. I'll hit the 2-hour mark and I'll be fine. I am planning to do another live stream during the week because the app I'm using is doing a major update on the 28th, which is actually Monday, which is tomorrow's date. So I want to see what happens. I want to see if I notice something. So there will definitely. I'll try to have a stream during the week because I actually want to use the app, software and stuff like that. I want to see if there's any major difference, or see if I have to change a few things around, or can I still use this app? Or I've been using it for a while. I may reconsider on coming back into StreamYard. I've been thinking about it. I do. Yeah, I definitely have to do a lot more further. Oh, come on. Yeah, I definitely could do a little bit more. Sheesh. I see. I'm assuming there's some organic matter in the mix of things, right? Not just manure. Where am I at? Alright, about 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes. Less than 7 minutes. So I'm trying to get some more airflow in here. Starting to see some of the ground a little bit better. And this is nothing major. I mean, nothing the plant won't miss. It still has the top foliage, the top of the canopy, the foliage on the top of the canopy, so it's still good. I'm just trying to get some airflow underneath a little bit more, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Because I could tell. Just by looking at this, I'm just like, yeah, I've gotten some more airflow in there, so hopefully it'll help. And hopefully I'll see more fruiting than foliage. I'm not trying to grow the foliage, at least not for this one. I'm trying to grow some flowers and some fruit, so I can, gain something for the fruits of my labor here. I see. Well, if you have the decomposers in the system, right, enough of them, right, don't break down something fairly relatively quickly, especially if the surface area is there for them, right? Because it reduces the amount of time they need to, chew it and do something and bite into it and all that stuff, right? Because I know for me, during the winter time here, I can't believe I'm saying this, but decomposition slows down because of the cold, right? So this is why during the fall time, most of the time, but not all the time. At times, I'll chop and drop things in a smaller state or smaller pieces, but more of them to increase the surface area, right? Because during the winter here, it takes very, very long time for decomposition, right? The fungi might be able to do something, but that has to be underground. The surface, you're not going to get a lot of biological, like bacteria growth, bacteria breaking down stuff because it's colder out, right? It slows it down or stops it, right? Unless it's in a pile and if it's warm, then it can keep going. But if it's not like that, then decomposition just kind of slows down to a trickle, if you're lucky. Yeah, just because you don't see what it originally was, like a banana peel, doesn't mean it's broken down all the way. It's just a smaller piece, right? It's just a smaller piece. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, these more elemental forms of substance, right? Or the ions that it creates, right? A plant's not going to be able to absorb a banana peel, right? The banana peel's got to break down into all those constituent parts that make it up, right? Right. It's not going to get the potassium from it right away. It will take some time for it to break down to be biologically available or plant available to it, right? That's just possible. All right. This is why when I say I'm this chop and drop stuff at times, right? Especially the springtime edition. I don't know if I said it on this year's, but the previous years I've said, I would say like last year, I mean, like, oh yeah, this won't help for this current year, but it will help in years, next year, the year after, and ongoing years, it'll help in time, right? I mean, pretty much it's 2025, right? So anything I dropped in on 2020 is probably more likely to be biologically available right now, if it's still within the system of the plant or within range of it being able to transfer biologically across the underground network that they have, right? For the fungi, for the bugs, for the worms, for the holes, for the soil, for the microbes, for the fungi and all that stuff, right? Alright, so 2-minute warning here, so enough about the plants for a little bit until the next video like usual, or until next live stream. But yes, I appreciate everyone dropping by here, and this will be my 2-minute warning for the stream, because I will be signing out at just slightly past the 2-hour mark, or before, one or the other, and I have to charge my device anyways. So I appreciate everyone dropping by like usual. So I saw some other people once again. It's nice to see them. Alright. In the comment section, my comments just keep going, because this guy right here, this guy right here, this is the guy right here, this guy right here. Yeah. You know what? I can't remember. You know what? Why not? I don't usually do this right away, but come on. Let's change that out to has been added. It may not have a CR in it, but it's got an M and an R in it and a D, and among some other things, especially if they type something, they'll notice it. But yes, I appreciate everyone dropping by on this stream, and hopefully, gave you guys a couple sneak peeks, something to think about, right? Something to look forward to, right? You keep doing what you can do out there as much as possible. Yeah, I got you. What do you mean there, too, Billy? I know what you mean. Yeah. All right, and apparently 2 minutes went by faster than I thought. It's like past the 2 hour mark. All right, everyone. Anyways, I will catch you folks later. There will be a stream later during the week. Now you might see. Hopefully, I'll give more notification, not just like half an hour, an hour. Hopefully, I'll give a little bit more time. I'll squeeze it in. I do know it will be after 28th, like I said, and like always, everyone, things are going on out there. Things are changing too. In different places in the world, among some other things. I'm not talking about just one thing. Other things are happening too, right? Not just natural things, but man-made things too. So we're gonna have to adapt to it, learn about it, and deal with it within time, and go practice those things out there, all right? Don't just have knowledge and without skill, right? And don't just have some skill without knowledge, right? Gain some experience and pull it all together with some experience, right? And don't just be about gear. I love gear too, all that stuff. Physical resources, but physical resources work better when you have some skills, some knowledge, and some experience to back that up too, right? Get more out of it too, right? And try to help someone whenever possible. Until the next time! I'll just leave that on the screen, alright? It'll be the last thing I leave on the screen. Alright, take care everyone. See you! Take care.